4 teams left, while the rest watch players leave.
A coach who has his squad sending softballs out of the park.
And a Hokies catcher is cooking behind the dish.
That's coming up on 3304 Sports First Pitch.
Hello and welcome from the Center for the Arts studio in Blacksburg, Virginia. I'm Riley Klaus here with my co-host Richard Terry. Richard, we're towards the end of basketball season, and how about that UConn versus Duke game? Just ridiculous.
Big shot Braylon Mullins. I've never seen a shot like that before. I don't think you have either. What a shot.
Indeed, and that sets the stage for the Final Four. Now we got Illinois and UConn versus the top seeds in Arizona and Michigan. Who do you think makes it out of there?
You know, I want to see an upset with Illinois, but UConn, a 20-0 run against them last year, I think they'll do something similar. And then Pete, this guy is dominant. Watch out for Arizona.
Meanwhile, I might take the opposite too, but either way, we'll be watching the Final Four on TV. But Virginia Tech men's basketball has already watched 3 players enter the transfer portal. Lucas Harrison is here to talk about the recent absence of center Christian Gurdak on Mike Young's roster.
We are nearing the end of the college basketball season, with the Final Four just on the horizon. But, as the name says, only 4 teams can go to it. So the others are left to sit at home and focus on the next season. One of those teams is Virginia Tech. After preemptively declining a bid to go to the NIT after their OT loss to Wake Forest in the first round of the ACC tournament, a lot of speculation has occurred on what the team would look like next year after the disappointment of not making the tournament. The current outlook, it's not good for Mike Young next year. 3 players have already hit the portal: Isaiah Pasha, Neo Abdallas, and Christian Gurdak, and no one from the portal has committed to Virginia Tech currently. One of those 3 I want to focus on particular, and that is Christian Gurdak. Christian Gurdak was a true freshman this season and stepped up in a massive way for the Hokies this season. When Lawal went down with his ankle injury, Gurdak stepped up and played very well, especially in big games. His best performance was against UVA at home, where he had an ACC season record of 19 rebounds in a triple overtime thrower for the performance that was almost a 2020 game. Now let's shift to the future and what this means. Gurdak was offered by Mike Young in 9th grade. Yes, 9th grade. And Young has been very critical in the development of Gurdak. Now, while Neo Abdallas might be a bigger talent loss, Gurdak's decision to hit the portal sounds a lot of alarms. A true freshman that Mike Young has nearly hand-groomed for 5 years, Gurdak's loss could be a sign for things to come. The transfer portal is still wide open, and Virginia Tech can make a lot of moves, and the Hokies can still be in a position to make it the tournament at large, but it's going to take a lot of work in the portal and in high school recruiting to make it work.
Great stuff, Lucas. Well, Richard, now let's go to the Diamond, where simply put, Virginia Tech softball is good. They outscored Boston College on the road last weekend in a 3-game series, 42-7.
Yeah, 42-7. I thought I saw a football score. That's a crazy score for Virginia Tech. And now they got Clemson, a tough loss yesterday. Let's see how they can bounce back.
Indeed. And now, ironically, 42 points was how many points scored by Virginia Tech football the last time they played Boston College. But now going back to Clemson on the Diamond, it's a little bit of a different series, right? They're playing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which allows for fans to maybe make their way to the ballpark, enjoy their Easter Sunday, and still witness a great softball team. But they did already drop Game 1. It should be a competitive series throughout the weekend.
One man is responsible for one of the superpowers of ACC softball. For more on the coach who has built this softball team from the ground up, Michael Avery.
Pete D'Amour has changed the course of Virginia Tech softball, and honestly, doesn't take much to see the impact he's had on the program. Just recently, on March 21st, D'Amour completed a huge personal milestone, winning his 300th game as the head coach of the Hokies. Since his takeover in 2019, the program has shifted from struggling to find its footing to becoming one of the most respected teams in not just all of the ACC, but in all of college softball. What immediately stands out is how quickly the team improved. In just his first season, D'Amour led the Hokies to 47 victories and even secured an ACC regular season title, instantly blowing everyone's expectations out of the water. That immediate success set a strong foundation, and since then, Virginia Tech has been a regular in the NCAA tournament, and this was not just a fluke for the Hokies. They aren't barely sneaking into the postseason. They have been consistently competitive. The team has recorded multiple 40-win seasons under D'Amour, including a very strong 2025 campaign that had them finishing 43-13 in the regular season. DeMoor has also shaped these teams to be known for their potent offense, especially for their power at the plate, making for a tough matchup for almost anyone in college softball. And the Hokies, they haven't just been one and dones in the postseason. They've had plenty of success as well. VT has made deep runs into the Super Regionals. However, Virginia Tech, they're still looking for their first Women's College World Series appearance since their lone showing back in 2008. At this trajectory, though, it is a matter of when, not if they're going to make it. Playoff success is something that once seemed out of reach for the Hokies. Now, it's more of an expectation than a surprise. So, how does Pete DeMoor keep being able to keep great teams year over year? Player development. You've seen players come through Virginia Tech and earn All-American honors, All-ACC recognition, and major conference awards. It's clear that players are improving and thriving under his guidance, which highlights his effective leadership. And before even arriving in Blacksburg, DeMoor already created a strong coaching background with stops at Kennesaw State, where he won a conference title, and with his alma mater at Missouri. So DeMoor definitely brought plenty of hearty experience when he arrived at Virginia Tech. But what he's accomplished truly stands out here at VT. He's built something sustainable, not just a brief run. And at this point, it's safe to say that Pete DeMoor has raised the bar for Hokies softball. The program isn't just competitive anymore, it's one that people expect to win and make noise at the national level.
Thank you, Michael. Great work. Riley, fortune hasn't been the same for Virginia Tech baseball. A tough series loss to Stanford.
Yeah, it's been an up and down season all year long for Virginia Tech baseball, and that Stanford series, no different. They were able to pick up one win. It's been fascinating to see their pitching staff really change because Brendan Yagish has all of a sudden become a starter for the Hokies. Brett Renfroe you can always count on. Now, despite that series loss, they got a win against Radford, and I'll tell you what, a key piece to why they are even getting some of those wins, the bottom of the order is stepping up for Virginia Tech.
Well, we're going to hear something about one of those bottom-of-the-order guys later on, but how about Ethan Gibson, a St. Cloud Rocks legend? This guy rakes, and he's also a very versatile defender. He's so fun to watch. This is a guy that goes along with the bottom of the order that's done a lot of work for the Hokies.
Yeah, he went a couple of years without a home run, and all of a sudden he's been stringing them together. I'll tell you what, the bottom of the order is flying on all cylinders right now, but Henry Cook is heating up at the plate. Jack Hurlbert has more on the senior catcher who's found his groove in Blacksburg.
As Virginia Tech's baseball season rolls on, consistency has been a big issue for the Hokies. Some games have seen the bullpen perform phenomenally, but bad hitting forces the Hokies into tight games and vice versa. Performances on the field wax and wane, much like players in almost all sports. However, there's been a quiet masterclass being performed behind the scenes at English Field, or should I say, behind the plate. Henry Cook has been playing phenomenal baseball behind the plate, being one of the most reliable players on the team for the past month. This should come as no surprise, as the veteran from Stewart's Draft, Virginia, has played an impressive amount of games in his time at Virginia Tech. This season has seen Cook start 24 of the 27 games at catcher, and he's only posted 2 errors and 1 passed ball in all 24 of those games. Cook also isn't shy to show off his arm either, as he's already gunned down a career-high 9 runner stealing so far, and it's only halfway through the season. However, while dominant catching, this season has been tough for the senior at the plate. Usually a 250-plus hitter, Cook had a tough first few months of batting, only securing 2 hits in his first 10 games. He's on pace to only accumulate 30 hits, which would be his lowest ever, minus the freshman year where he saw limited playing time. That said, Cook may have turned the corner, as the recent series against Stanford saw him notch 5 hits in 3 games, one of them being a 391-foot homer in a 10-2 win over the Cardinal. It's also important to note how helpful Cook has been driving in runs, with a whopping 7 RBIs in the past 3 games. This recent surge from the righty slugger may have knocked him out of his hitting slump as he looks to stay in his groove about halfway through the season. From the words of Coach Sheff, the more he plays, the better he gets. In multiple interviews with different players after games, all of them had said the same about Cook. His consistency behind the plate, along with his positive attitude and his veteran leadership, provide the Hokies with a constant boost, one that will stay stagnant in any slump or scenario.
Thanks, Jack. Now, Henry Cook has been behind the plate for Virginia Tech for 4 years now. And guess what? For the third year in a row, I'm bringing this segment back. Rounding the bases. We stand behind home plate here in the studio. And Richard, I know it's your first year at Virginia Tech, but welcome to this tradition. You ready to walk around the bases?
Let's go ahead and make our way to first. We start with a single.
That we did. And my question to you is, in the season of baseball, who is the team MVP of Virginia Tech baseball?
I'm going to go with an interesting one in Brett Renfroe. Renfroe's been a staple of this Tech rotation for a few years now, but his most recent start against Stanford has hopes high after 12 strikeouts against the Cardinal.
No doubt. He's Mr. Consistency the whole way. Let's go over to second base where we just hit a double, Richard.
Oh my gosh, what a swing of the bat there. And we're going to take a big swing at one of the games of the year, Riley. What do you got for that?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of sports at Virginia Tech, and I don't think it gets much better than rivalry. Overtime? Not just one. How about three? Virginia Tech versus Virginia inside of Castle Coliseum rounds out 2025 in a great way for the Hokies. They'd get that win in triple overtime over their Commonwealth opponent. Although they didn't make March Madness, that one certainly had all the chaos you need. Let's go over to third because we somehow hit a triple, folks.
Big swings of the bat here, and we're going to continue to talk basketball, Riley. You're the basketball guy today. Can you talk to us about a transfer player, the transfer of the year in your eyes, that made big impacts in that game as well?
Yeah, when you look about all the sports, my transfer of the year is Amani Hansberry. He came over from West Virginia and brought a whole ton of experience to the team, led the team in scoring for a large majority of the season, and provided a great presence down low and on defense all year long. And we just did it, Richard. We hit a home run. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. And so we've had a whole lot of stuff happen this year. But Richard, what's the moment of the year for Virginia Tech sports?
I'm going to go a little bit off of what people might think. I think it's the James Franklin hiring. When we look at what Virginia Tech has done this year with Franklin, the hype is high. Everybody loves it. The recruits, the set in stone YouTube videos, it is awesome for Virginia Tech sports right now.
Yeah, between him, Brent Pry coming back, all the music they put in those videos, it is absolutely amazing to see what's happening.
Well, we just walked it off. For our reporters, Lucas Harrison, Michael Avery, and Jack Hurlbert, I'm Richard Terry, that's Riley Klaus, and we say farewell from the Center of the Arts here in Blacksburg, Virginia.